Welcome to the Commercial Gas Engineer channel. I want to show you a few apps that I can't live without. First and foremost, Google Wallet or Google Pay. I don't know if you're familiar with this app. It's one where you can pay for items via your phone, or you can use it to get on public transport by tapping in on the underground, for example, or when you get on a bus. Download the app if you haven't already got it. It can really help out for when you've forgotten your bank cards or lost your bank cards. You just add a card to the phone, and then when you go in the shop, you use it to pay. So if you look online for Google Pay or Google Wallet in the Play Store, then another app which I believe is slowly closing, and they are using the other Tesco shopping app for points, but one is Tesco Club Card. So try and make sure that you're able to get your club card points on your phone. I don't know if you're a Nectar person with Sainsbury's or if you're a Tesco person, but if you are, try not to use up the club card vouchers as money, but convert them into points because you get more value. So for instance, here's £19 of club card vouchers that I could use in a shop to buy something, or you can convert them, as I've done here, into points, for instance, to go to the zoo, or for points to eat out. So you get more value from it that way. So have a look at that. Another app which I like using is Yuka. I've made a video about Yuka before, and also I've made one about Tesco Club Card as well if you want more details. But the Yuka app, I can't recommend it enough. It's really good for giving you a better understanding of what you're eating. Doesn't mean that you mustn't eat things that are rated poor, but it just gives you a better indication why it is poor. So you scan items in a shop, anything from things that you eat right down to creams or anything else. So for instance, you can scan something, and then if you click the icon here, you will get an indication of how bad it is and also alternatives. Sometimes the alternatives are more expensive, sometimes they're cheaper or a little bit more. It tends to give items a rating of 0 to 100, 0 being bad for you and 100 it being closer to excellent. These are some of the examples I have of the items I've scanned, like soba pot noodles compared to some of the other pot noodles. And it doesn't mean just because you have a particular brand or because their brand says that it's healthy that it will come up good on the app. You'll see on the app that the reasons why it will say additives, etc. Okay, another one is Color Notes. Color Notes is a good app to have on your phone. You can take notes and select to make a to-do list, or a list here, for instance, like a material list. And then as you're going through what items you have in the shop or in your van, you can tick them off to say that you have them. This isn't an app per se, but when you are using your telephone, I've realized that many people are not aware of how to divert calls from their phone. For instance, when you're on call, or just in case one of your batteries are dying, like your work phone batteries die. When I'm unable to answer my phone, please divert calls to my personal phone. So you go to call forwarding, and then you put the number in that you would like it to forward the calls to. There it is, for example. You can have always forward calls, for instance, or when busy or when answered. It's very helpful. Google Translate is an app that I find quite helpful. You can even speak into it. You can also even take pictures of signs and it will help you translate it. You can even have a conversation. If you ever have a customer that doesn't speak much English and they speak a certain language, it's not perfect, but it can work. And if you speak clearly into it, it will translate what you're saying and translate what they're saying. Another thing that a feature on phones, not all of these are apps, but another feature on phones that you may not be familiar with is using the camera on Google. You can click on the camera and take a picture of something, and it will show you where you can get that item and the cost of it, whether it be a picture of a van, a tool, and it will show you on Google a near match. I've shown you this on previous videos, but you may not have seen it. The magnetic tool, I believe it's by Danfoss. They have a magnetic tool and you can use it to check the rotation of pumps. Try to get apps like the Greggs app. If you download the Greggs app, I think you get a free drink on your first order. So try that out. You have to go to scan or to wallet or rewards, I believe, and you can get a free drink from Greggs when first downloading the app. Clear Scanner is a good app to have. It's one where you can take pictures of documents and forward them on as PDFs. It's quite good. You can crop them and forward them on. There are decibel meters that you can get online. They're not as accurate as a proper decibel meter for checking the noise levels in a place, but I have used this on jobs where clients complain that a fan coil unit is making too much noise and that they can't bear it. And I've gone in and used this to check the levels of the sound and have argued with the client saying you're being unrealistic because the sound levels that you're hearing are manageable. So it's a good get out of jail card tool. We know about Google Maps, but I've noticed that very few people know how to add stops on Google Maps. So when you're, for instance, if you're taking someone on a tour around London, you can put all the different places you want to go. You can move them around and see what is the best route to save time. And say, for instance, I was starting off at Big Ben and I wanted to go for a few landmarks in London. If I use this app, it can help. But it's not only just for tourists or taking people on tours around London, but for work, it's ideal. If you're given a few locations to go to, you can put them in Google Maps and then map them out and move them around and save yourself a lot of time going back and forth. I'm not sure if you use Waze, but a good feature in Waze is when you have a journey marked out, for instance, from London to Scotland, you can click the fuel sign and it will tell you where all the fuel stations are and roughly how much the last recorded amount of fuel costs there. And then you can just select it and it will add a stop. It also gives you a prediction of what time you should leave out in order to go to a place, whether you will encounter a lot of traffic based upon previous recordings. It also shows you where there are police doing checks and where vehicles have broken down. Here you have someone saying on there that their vehicle has broken down. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Waze, but if you're not using it, it's a good app to have for navigation. Okay, if I've missed any apps or ways of using your phone that is not in this video, please share it in the comments below. Or if you've learned anything from this video, please let me know as well. All right, thank you for joining me. Until next time, bye.